A baby is staring at you right now, not blinking, not looking away, just locked onto your face with an intensity that makes grown adults feel slightly judged. Most people laugh it off, maybe wave back, maybe make a weird noise hoping something happens. But developmental neuroscientists have spent the last 2 decades trying to understand exactly what is happening inside that tiny skull during those long, unblinking stares. And what they found doesn't just change how you see babies, it changes how you understand consciousness itself. Let's start with the obvious theory. Babies stare because their vision is bad, and faces are just the most interesting looking thing nearby. Sounds reasonable. Newborns do have limited visual range, about 8 to 12 inches, roughly the distance from your arms to your face when you're holding them. But here's the problem with that theory. By 3 months old, babies have enough visual range to look at practically anything in the room. The ceiling, the window, the dog, the pile of laundry in the corner. And they still keep choosing your face every single time. That's not blurry vision. That is a preference. And when researchers started digging into why, what they found in the data was something nobody expected. In 2017, a team at the University of Cambridge published a landmark study in the journal PNS, one of the most prestigious scientific publications on Earth. They measured neural activity in both infants and adults during face-to-face interaction, using a technique called functional near-infrared spectroscopy. What they were looking for was brainwave synchronization. What they found stopped the field cold. When a baby locks eyes with you, when that stare happens, their brainwaves begin to sync with yours. The same frequencies, the same rhythms, firing across 2 separate brains simultaneously. They tested it with an adult looking away, no sync. They tested it with a neutral face, partial sync, but mutual gaze, eye contact, produced the strongest neural coupling the researchers had ever recorded between 2 individuals of different ages. Your baby isn't just looking at you, they are locking their developing brain onto yours, using your neural activity as a kind of scaffold, a template for building their own. That stare is how human brains teach other human brains how to be human. But here's where it gets even stranger, because babies don't stare at everyone the same way. Researchers at Harvard Medical School ran a deceptively simple experiment. They showed 3-month-old infants 2 faces, a stranger's face and their primary caregiver's face. The infants looked longer at the stranger, which seems backwards until you understand why. Cognitive scientists call it the violation of expectation response. Babies stare longer at things they don't fully understand yet. The stranger is a puzzle, novel, unprocessed. But the caregiver's face, by 3 months, a baby has already logged thousands of hours processing that face. Every expression, every micro-movement, every shift in tone. When they look at you, their person, they're not confused. They're reading you. Researchers at the University of Washington found that by 5 months, babies can distinguish between a genuine smile and a fake one. By 6 months, they track your emotional state and use it to decide how to respond to the world, a process developmental psychologists call social referencing. You look scared, they freeze. You look excited, they reach for the object. You look calm, they explore. That long, unblinking stare is data collection. Your baby is building a real-time emotional map of your face and using it to calibrate their own understanding of what is safe and what is dangerous. You are not just their parent. You are their nervous system's external hard drive. Now I want to tell you about an experiment that was considered so disturbing it sparked years of ethical debate in developmental psychology. It's called the still face paradigm. Designed in 1975 by Dr. Edward Tronick at Harvard. The setup is simple. A mother interacts normally with her infant, smiling, talking, responding. The baby is happy, engaged, staring up at her face with total attention. Then, on cue, the mother goes completely blank. Still face, no expression, no response. Eyes open, but nothing behind them. What happens next in the 2 minutes that follow is one of the most studied sequences of behavior in all of developmental psychology. The baby immediately notices. They try to re-engage her. Big smiles, pointing, vocalizing, all the things that normally work. Nothing. They try harder, bigger gestures, more urgent sounds. Still nothing. Within 90 seconds, most infants begin to show physiological stress responses. Cortisol spikes, heart rate rises, some begin to cry. Others go flat themselves, withdrawing into a kind of emotional shutdown that mirrors the mother's blankness. When the mother re-engages. Recovery is rapid, but not instant. Here's what Dr. Ronick concluded from 2 decades of running this study. Babies are not passive recipients of care. They are active participants in a constant emotional conversation, and that conversation happens almost entirely through the face. The stare isn't admiration. It isn't confusion. It is communication at its most fundamental level. Your baby is talking to you with their eyes, and they need you to talk back. There's one more layer to this that almost no one talks about outside of academic circles, and it involves what babies are actually building during all that staring, beyond just emotional attunement. Researchers at MIT's Brain and Cognitive Sciences department have spent years studying infant visual processing, and they've made a discovery that reshapes everything we thought we knew about how intelligence develops. Babies who receive more contingent face-to-face interaction in the first 6 months, meaning interactions where their cues get noticed and responded to, show measurably greater development in the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, decision-making, emotional regulation, and complex social behavior, the architecture of adult cognition. Being stared at and staring back is literally building the hardware that will run your child's mind for the rest of their life. Every time you hold their gaze, every time you mirror their expression, every time you respond to what you see in their eyes, you are not just bonding, you are doing construction work. So now I need to tell you about the warning, because there is one. If you notice a baby who doesn't stare, who consistently avoids eye contact, who doesn't track your face, who seems to look through you rather than at you, that is not a quirk. Reduced or absent gaze behavior in infancy is one of the earliest observable markers that researchers associate with atypical social development. It doesn't mean something is wrong. Every baby develops on their own timeline, but pediatric neuroscientists are clear. Early identification changes outcomes. The brain's plasticity in the first 2 years of life is never that high again. Intervention at 6 months produces results that intervention at 2 years cannot replicate. So if something about the stare or the absence of it feels off to you, trust that instinct. You are probably the most well-calibrated instrument in the world for reading your own child's face, because you've been doing it since the first hour they were born. So the next time a baby locks eyes with you across the room and just stares, remember what's actually happening. Their brain is reaching out for yours. They are using your face to learn how to be a person, how to feel, how to understand what is safe and what isn't, how to exist in a world full of other humans. 15,000 years of evolution didn't give babies big, round, irresistible eyes by accident. Those eyes are the most sophisticated social interface ever developed. And when one locks onto yours, the only right response is to stare back. If this changed how you see the babies in your life, subscribe to this channel and drop a comment below. I want to know, was there a moment where a baby's stare stopped you cold? Because if there was, now you know exactly what was happening. And if you want to understand why babies laugh at nothing, at empty corners at 3 a.m., at something only they can see, that's the next video. And the science is stranger than any explanation you've heard before.